Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to today's NXT Homecoming review and opinions video. So let's go down the match scores first. Opening match, Alexa Charlotte Cullen, great 60. DIY Trick Mello, great 73. Ethan Tyler, great 61. And the main event, great 74. So every match getting a great rating from you guys. I think as well, the segments were well received. You know, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, that was a fun open. Grayson Waller effect with that big announcement for champion versus champion. Then, of course, on social media, you got the TNA talent all sending out messages. It was good, and it felt like there was a real buzz on this show as well. So I think, and I was just reading what Mitchell had written, and I really do find myself agreeing actually here, because I'm torn between 7.75 and 8. Like, it's really significant if we give a show an 8. Like, it's a big deal, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to say this was an 8. I'm going to say there was just enough here for an 8, personally, right? Because I think the matches were good, although maybe I wasn't as crazy about them as you guys were. I don't know my scores would have been that high, but they still would have been high. They still would have been good. I enjoyed the open with Shawn and Triple H and William Regal. Lovely seeing Shayna Baszler. That one, as I said, a real surprise. Didn't know that we were going to get her. Montez on his own was obviously very interesting. Sammy kind of teasing something with Javon. I don't think anything comes of that, but I was kind of hoping something would. But yeah, that was kind of fun. And there was just like all throughout the show. I thought the Grayson Waller effect segment was good. I thought Ricky looked really good in that moment. The whole show held my attention. I don't think there was a single bad segment. Even Lexis coming out and just talking and then being interrupted by Finn Balor was really, really good. It was a shame that we couldn't get more crowd in. I will admit that. I do think it was a shame that we didn't get a match that felt like there could have been a title change. For example, Ethan Tyler, we did wonder, like, could they? But I don't think we really believed they would. Same with Alexa and Charlotte against the Cullen. And then the main event was like just really star power, wasn't it? It was just a way of getting names on the show. DIY Trick Mello again, fine, good, enjoyable, just like all the other matches. But I don't know, imagine if we had had like a good title match that had a really good build and a big dramatic finish. Like, this show was missing that. And I think this show was missing that OMG moment, right? I mean, we knew William Regal was on the show. And we knew that 99% of the people that were on the show were on the show. I can only think of Damian and Shayna as being like the surprises. And they were both backstage. So I think a little bit in the matches, little bit in an OMG moment. Maybe the matches needed to have a bit more spice to them, a bit more build to them. Needed that sort of championship change. Like, for me, if we'd had those things, then we're talking 9, right? Then we're kind of really up in the 9s. But without those, I still think this is like 7.75 to 8. But I just love this show so much. I had so much fun with it. I was not bored for a second. And honestly, the Talking Points video we did on the main channel is one of the longest Talking Points videos I think I've done for a Raw or a SmackDown or for anything. So that just showed how much stuff was kind of in this episode. So I'm going to go 8. But Mitchell, I totally get where you're coming from. So let's have a look and see what you lot scored it. So Mitchell said, I thought it was a really solid show. I'm going to give it 7.75. It's hard to put it in the 8 club because of the pacing. Really got thrown off with commercials. Loved nostalgia and callbacks. If this was a takeover or a PLE, it would have been much better. Jeff said, what's up, Daze? Tonight's NXT was very entertaining show with throwbacks involved. Good to be back at Full Sail with all the history behind that building. Will we see an invasion of some sorts with the winner taking all the championships in that match next week? Ober Trick. Yeah, so it definitely feels like an invasion is being set up. It also feels a little early for an invasion because, I mean, for me, we wouldn't really do an invasion until closer to Survivor Series. But I don't know. I mean, maybe they're just going to tease it for a few weeks. And then we get the invasion and then we do a series of matches and the kind of final thing we do is War Games. So maybe we're kind of starting the ball rolling now that's going to conclude at War Games. So, they invade us, we invade them. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, honestly, next week's show, I do think, is shaping up to be another unmissable episode. He Who Smiles said the in-ring was pretty good, but as an entirety, I did expect a little bit more. That also could have been unrealistic on my part, though, because it wasn't even scheduled as a PLE. So with that consideration, 7.25, 7.5. I think that's very fair. Uncle Howdy Dreads said, sorry, we wasn't there for Homecoming, my Fireflies, but we have been travelling across the world. But at the end of the day, all you have to do is let us in. I don't know if that's like a 10 out of 10. It could be. But Uncle Howdy Dreads, thank you. Hannah said, for my first NXT show I've watched, I'm giving it a 9. Having not watched it before, I thought it was really good. Loved the main roster additions, but also loved the old intros for them. So I can't wait to watch more of NXT. Well, I mean, this was an exceptional episode. I mean, this is not a normal episode. So I don't know. Hopefully this has inspired you to check out NXT next week. I think you'll kind of see that it's a bit different from this. Still good, though. Still got some great characters and stories. And for many people, this is the best of all the WWE shows. So, yeah, NXT is still a great watch. But, yeah, I would lower those expectations for next week. Although next week does look very good. Taker 1990 said NXT was a 9. Charlotte put over Izzi and Tatum. She made them look like they were stomping mud holes and walking them dry on her. When Alexa was the legal tag, she was on fire. To me, this was even better than the main event, with being match of the night, said Taker 1990. Shout out to you, buds. Opala said great show. However, I was hoping for the Page return. But all in all, 7. Also, do we think Ava not being on the show was due to her words on a certain matter or something else? Personally, that's not any reason to keep her off the show. I don't think it was related, honestly. There's many episodes of NXT where she doesn't come out in front of the crowds. The GM role, it doesn't always need that. A lot of the time, it's just backstage stuff, so don't think it was anything, honestly. We had William Regal, didn't he? Came out at the start, and then there was no real moment for a match to be made. There wasn't really, chaos that needed to be sorted out. So, yeah, no, we see many occasions where the GM doesn't come out, so I really don't think that was an issue. Real John said it was a real fun show. Love that some of the OG themes, just some real great memories of black and gold era of NXT. So overall, 8. Brady said it was a great show. My favourite part, of course, was the Women's Tag Team Championship match. I'm so happy for Tatum and Izzi that they got to wrestle their inspirations. I 100% need more Alexa Bliss and Tatum Paxley in the future. Alexa and Charlotte roasting DX was funny, says Brady. Jess has gone 8. Loved the old intro song and video package. DIY Trick Mello was good. Was excited for Finn to get that pop. They did well showcasing past stars and current stars. The 6 women tag match was fun. Could have used one big surprise at the end. This show made me want to watch NXT more. Goods. Good. Robbie said 1,000 out of 10. Sean and Hunter looked like 2 proud dads when Alexa and Charlotte were out there. They did. More Prince Pretty, please. It's wild to imagine he was once tag champs with Roman in FCW. Nice hearing the old themes, showing how truly woeful Def Rebel is. Ricky's was fire on the mic. He was, wasn't he? I agree. Wrestling fan since day one said 7 for me. I would have to cut down the opening promo. I would have had matches in a different order tonight. I don't know what I was expecting, but I kind of felt disappointed. The hype was there at first. Good night, buds. Chris said, Daze, it was a fun watch. 825 for the nostalgia. Will get me every time. Hopefully NXT could make this a yearly event, or maybe every other year. Thoughts? Yeah, I'd be totally down for that. I think we said as much on the stream, actually. Raymond said, Daze, I thought NXT Homecoming was very good, and each match was very good too, and I was entertained, and I've got a respectful 825. Shout out to you, and we'll see you for SmackDown. See you then, buds. Steve-O said the show was over bloated with main roster stars. I watch NXT for NXT stars. Plus, a lot of these matches could have been on the main roster. None of them were that great. It was a pointless show, and I didn't enjoy this. So 5, said Steve-O. Ryder said 825. I really enjoyed this episode of NXT, and they managed to pack in so many segments and talking points into 2 hours. For the theme and the nostalgia of the show, I thought they hit a slam dunk and delivered a strong offering and a great cliffhanger going into next week with a TNA invasion. Nana Econ said better than Raw and SmackDown nowadays. Creature of the Night said they wasted Finn, they blew past Bianca. Oba trick again. Great to see William Regal. Matches were too rushed because there was so much packed in. It could have been a PLE, but I got to see Joe Hendry, who I heard is on NXT now, and Booker got his to pop his D at the end. So 6 out of 10, says Creature of the Night. Wrestling God said, I'm going to score tonight's episode 8.8. Elite Pro Wrestling Forum said fun open with the legends. Finn and DIY with old entrances were nice. Good to see other OGs, but expected more. Matches were good, okay. Santana tweet was interesting ahead of the title versus title next week. Expected more overall. So 625. Not seen Santana's tweet. I'll have to search that out. Sub Hodeep said Daze NXT was great and there could be a TNA invasion next week. He Who Smiles said one more thing. It was complete garbage that they had DIY eat the pin at a homecoming, probably just to kiss Trick's overrated ass to help promote TNA because they want Hendry so bad. Brendan said Bronson Reed. Jason said, such good memories, I give it an 8. I hope Finn goes back to the demon and leaves Judgment Day. Jade said, Mama, homecoming, put a feature against his head, pulled, invade, you know the rest of the lyrics. So, Mama, I'm guessing is, I don't know, in relation to Rhea, but I think we've got a Bohemian Rhapsody thing going on. Daryl said, great show, 8.5. Opening segment was great. Strong show all round. See you for SmackDown. Will Brock turn up on SmackDown? Still looking for Cena. I don't know, is Cena on that show? Actually don't know if Cena's advertised for that show. If he is, then Brock could. But I actually, sitting here right now, have not even looked at SmackDown. So, Casey said it was amazing. Tyler was robbed. The stream was a breeze. Would say gorgeous. And I think TNA does invade next week with Matt Cardona, said Casey. And here's Ring the Bell said top 3 of 2025. Overall, 8.5 for me. Nostalgia playing its part. The intro video alone was mood setting, that's true. Give me more Tatum Alexa. And the massive announcement for next week. Title versus title. Winner takes all. Yeah. So we got a few mixed results in there. I do think this show has to be taken in isolation. I don't think that this is a show that is really the normal offering. So for me, this was about nostalgia. This was about a lot of those main roster stars that we watched in NXT 10 years ago coming home. And it was just great to kind of see them in an arena so small. I mean, you know, Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley in front of just a few hundred people. You just don't see that. And when do you see that? So, like, for me, that was part of the joy, was seeing them come back and then thinking about some of the moments that they had when they were in NXT. I can sort of picture them. I can picture Rhea winning the championship, you know, and all those people getting in the ring. And that was at Full Sail. And I can picture, like, Finn Balor with him coming in and him teaming with Hideo Itami and just, like, him going after that belt and winning it and then defending it and steel cage match with, I think it was Samoa Joe. And so, you know, there's just so many memories, so much good stuff. And this was a trip down memory lane, absolutely. So I think if you don't really have much nostalgia for black and golds, this might not have done anything for you. If you did, I think this did something for you. And as we said, next week, we kind of go back to normal. So there we go. That was NXT Homecoming. If you enjoyed it, brilliant. If you didn't, don't worry. It's over now. And on we go. So yeah, we're back later with Evolve. We enjoy watching that show. Of course, we're back on Friday with SmackDown. And of course, this weekend is WrestlePalooza. So see you hopefully on one of those streams. Bye for now.